just with us today, now we've got a major lineup change. Chris Kelly here. BB Shea is right there because Chris Demm is out. And there's Red Rachel. You just got a compliment, by the way.
I did.
You did. Well, two of them in just a short span. Well, first of all, Red Rachel just left the room for a minute and said, whatever you do, don't answer the phone. So I have to learn that lesson because I don't answer the phones. You know, whoever's
Smart move.
Right. Whoever's sitting there, Biggie or whoever answers the phones. And Red Rachel said, now, you'll be tempted, but they'll be really, really mean to you. So do not answer the phone. So I didn't answer the phone in here. And when you left, I turned to BB Shea and said, well, she's smart to do that. And BB Shea said, oh, yeah, she's red-pilled. And I was like, what? I thought he meant you were on your period. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So I was like, I said, you can't say that. And he's like, no. That's from the movie The Matrix. Yeah. It means you're wise. You know, you understand it. You know, you get things.
I said she gets it. I mean, Rachel, for 24-year-olds, I must say, the conversations we had, I feel like you're pretty wise beyond your years.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was my thing.
Yeah.
And so, but I apologize that when he said that, I was like, oh, I didn't know she was going to
Holy shit, I phrased it differently.
I was like, I'm going to be totally different acting now. But he said, no, it's from the movie The Matrix, which I've seen and I liked. I hear the sequels are bad.
I hear, yeah, no, don't worry about it.
You see the original?
I love The Matrix.
I do too. I thought the first one was really good. And surprisingly, because I don't really like that kind of thing all that much. But then I was like, oh, yeah, the red pill. Now, if that were offered to me, you know how that works. It's like you can open your eyes and see everything with the red pill or just continue living your boring, go through life, not knowing the real truth blue pill. And I would have been like, blue pill. the movie, if I'd been in the movie, if I was cast, that movie would have lasted 5 minutes. Is it Lawrence Fishburne says, Red, I'd be like, blue.
Doesn't even finish the statement, just grab the blue pill.
I'm sure Fishburne would be like, no, wait, I'll take, give me the blue pill. I'm fine. I just want to walk through. That's how I am with life anyway. You know what I did on January 6th? I turned away. I don't want to
worry about it.
I watched Friends. I was like, I'm not watching this. I'm not going to do this. Then I got a text from the Littlest Patriot who said, I'm listening to you all today. It's surprisingly decent. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay. So that, it really, really makes you feel good when you hear things like that.
Decent from him?
It's surprisingly decent.
That guy hates everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's surprisingly decent, and you're red-pilled. So congratulations.
Thank you.
No one has ever described me as red-pilled. Do you say it about me? He's blue-pilled.
Yeah, he's a blue-pilled guy. Yeah. That for that and the erectile dysfunction.
Right,
yeah.
well, yeah.
That's what I would interpret. If he would have said blue-pilled about you, I would have been like, I didn't need to know that.
Yeah, but now my erectile dysfunction, first of all, I never had erectile dysfunction, okay? I treated a lack of confidence in the bedroom.
Correct, yes.
Not with a pill. We did it with a procedure, which worked. All right, I'll just say that. And you can check me out my television commercial during the college basketball, which I get a lot of. Good, the bad, the ugly. Here's a great story out of Michigan. Well, you decide if it's great. A Michigan man has won money in the lottery. First, he won $500 in the Pick 3 lottery, the daily, and he decided to reinvest $100 of that. And that reinvestment won him $2.39 million in the next lottery. Here's the reason I say decide if it's good or bad. The first numbers he played to win the 500, 666. No, thank you.
Nope.
I don't want that.
I wouldn't play that number for $2.39 million. Would you take that $2.39 million knowing that the number is 666?
Definitely.
Sell your soul.
I mean, I hate the devil too, but I mean, it's $2.9 million.
Sold your soul to the devil for it, but it is $2.9 million. That's a lot. But as soon as I saw it, I was like, I don't even like, this gym I go to calculates how many calories you have, and it puts it on a big screen, like how many you've burned, and it puts it on the big screen because you're wearing a monitor. And if mine gets to 666, I won't stop. I keep on running because there's no way I'll never stop at 666.
If my total at like the fast food place or something, I'll be like, put a cookie on there.
Yes,
I'm not paying for that.
I agree. No, it should never come up to 666. That's
Never.
how averse I am to that number.
Me
We're
too.
biblical. We don't do something like that. So good luck to you, but I mean, I hope that $2.9 million spends well in hell because
I'm saying.
that's what's going to wind up happening. Another good story here today, and this is about money as well. A woman recently went to an antique store, Pennsylvania. She bought a $12 drawing thinking it would look nice hanging in her kitchen. And now Everybody thinks, even though it hasn't been authenticated yet, that it's a painting by Renoir, a drawing by Renoir, and it's worth well over $1 million. Now, that's something you just dream of having.
What a come up. Golly, that's so lucky.
Another good term. Come up. He's red-pilled. Okay, that's right. What a come up.
I didn't pick it up. I didn't turn it around. You know, I basically looked at it and I thought, I just want that piece. And he was looking at it, he looked it over, and he said, he agrees with me. So he said, congratulations. I think after the Wildenstein-Platner Institute does its inspection, I think it'll just go back into a safe for a little while and then have a little bit of downtime to decide what we want to do.
I wouldn't need 2 seconds of downtime to decide what I'd want to do with that.
That's what I was saying. Sell it, man.
That's Heidi Markow. And yes, I would sell it immediately. It's for worth, they're thinking, in the neighborhood of $1 to $2 million. She paid $12 for it in an antique store. The reason I would never be that lucky is because I would never be in an antique store. You know, you look at that, and that does happen from time to time. People find stuff in their attic that's worth millions of dollars. Well, just yesterday, we were talking about the guy in Vancouver who found that Beatles recording.
The old Beatles demo, yeah.
And it's worth a ton of money, and he's not selling it. He said he would like to meet Paul McCartney, is all he said. And Paul McCartney's on it. It's from 1961 or 62. And he found it, and it had remarkable quality, and he's decided not to sell it. I'd get with this woman, and I'd be like, let's both sell, you know, and take the money, obviously. Incredible that she got that out of just a $12 purchase. Have you ever done anything? Have you ever bought anything that you thought, oh, this might be valuable?
You know, I found a pin that said JFK on it once.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was like an original JFK campaign pin.
Yeah.
Looked it up online. It was like 12 cents.
Yeah.
I was like, I came up, man. I got this money now. Nah.
Chris Demm found one of those cleaning out his parents' house when they passed away.
Oh, really?
They sold it, and he cleaned out a ton. And he actually has it's like JFK, the man for the 60s, is what it says. It's a cool thing to have, to have something like that. Another good story here. An 8th grader in Massachusetts named Sarah Wong has invented a new device that detects seizures. She created this affordable glove called the handband, and they have named her, they have given her accolades, and she's been given an award from the STEM Champion Foundation. Her grandmother, it's either her grandmother or aunt, has seizures, and you can't detect them, and anything that you can use to detect them apparently is not affordable. So she made a glove. You wear it, and when you start to tremble, the seizure is noted, and doctors are called immediately. 911 is called immediately. And she's only, what did I say, an 8th grader. She's 14 years old and created that. Now, that is very impressive.
Very impressive.
I mean, to do something like that. My son's 20. You think he's ever... He couldn't buy toilet paper. Last week, he called his mother and said, I'm out of toilet paper. He's 2 hours away. Jimmy, you have a comment. Go ahead.
Well, I was getting tattooed by a good friend of mine. We've been friends since high school, and I was getting a sleeve of all horror movie characters, Mike Myers, Jason, The Exorcist, and during one session when he was done, he told me to look in the mirror, point my arm in the mirror. In the back of it, he tattooed 3 big sixes, 666, without my pre-approval, without letting me know. It was a complete shock. And when my mom saw the tattoo, she called him crying on the phone, begging him to cover it up. But by then, it was just too late.
Oh, my God.
That's devious.
I think that's wrong. That's really wrong of him to do that.
You might have a lawsuit on your hands, man.
Wouldn't you? I mean, that's illegal tattooing. Don't you think, Jimmy?
Yeah, I think so. But, you know, again, we were good friends. He said, I put the 3 6s on there because we were doing a horror movie theme, and 666 is famous for the Omen movie.
Well, yeah, but it's so...
That's terrible.
I mean, I get the horror movie. I mean, I'm a horror movie fan myself, but, man, that's a little much. That make people think you're satanic, you know?
Yeah, my mom was sick to her stomach.
Oh,
and
I'll bet.
When people see it, I'm not really happy when people see it, so I have to always explain why.
Did you consider getting it covered up and trying to, like, turn it into something else?
No, the way he did it is the 3 6s are the color of my actual skin, and he tattooed around it, so he calls it like ghosting. So it's my skin are 3 6s, and
Wow.
I don't see how it can be done.
I think he should have knocked off half of the bill. I think the price should have been. Did the Jason and the Michael Myers and everything turn out okay?
Oh, yeah, incredible. Actually, right after he finished the Exorcist part of the tattoo, I went to a convention in the same town where Linda Blair was signing autographs, and I asked her if she could sign my arm with a Sharpie, and the tattoo artist was going to tattoo her autograph on my arm, but she didn't want to do that because she thought the Sharpie ink might get me sick, so I was able to at least get a photo with Linda Blair.
Wow, and I guess she was pretty impressed with the Exorcist part of it.
She loved it, and everybody else in the convention loved it too because it was based on horror movies.
Wow. Thank you, Jimmy. Appreciate it. That's just so difficult for me because I love all those characters yet hate tattoos, And so I'm right in between, it's like that's a great story. But that 666 thing, then that would really.
If you get a 666 tattoo, you just got to convert to Satanism.
That's a real.
You just got to
bother.
really embrace that.
Do you think if he were ever go to prison, though, it might help him? People would stay away.
Oh,
from him.
without a
It
doubt.
would help him to have that.
I'm not messing with that guy.
Your thoughts on tattoos?
I don't care for them.
I don't either.
I can't make permanent decisions.
Yeah,
I can't even decide what I'm going to eat later.
That's a
So
lot. But young people love them. I mean,
They do.
People your age really like
I
tattoos.
don't see them and think like, oh, that's so stupid. I wouldn't get them myself.
Yeah, I understand.
I don't judge.
I mean, I've told this before, but one time this guy I was playing pickleball with, he's all sleeved and tatted up, great guy. And we just were chatting one time about tattoos, and he says, well, I regret every one of these. I did them when I was young. I was stupid, and now I have to live with all this regret. And that made my nipples hard because I'm right there, I was like, oh, yeah. To hear something like that.
Regrets. Nothing gets to be more turgid than some regrets.
Know how I love regret. Exactly. Bad story today. A man has been arrested for trespassing while dressed as Ronald McDonald. Do you know Ronald McDonald? I want. Now you do, of course, BB Shea, right?
No, thanks. Yeah.
I felt like you were. I feel like you're of the age that you would know Ronald McDonald. I don't know if a 24-year-old, because they de-emphasized Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, he's not really popping anymore at McDonald's.
I didn't think so. But a man has been arrested for dressing like him and hanging around outside of an apartment complex. When he was asked about it, he's like, what's the crime? Just because I'm dressed like Ronald McDonald's, like, no, you have to get out of here. You're loitering. You can't be here. That was also in Pennsylvania. So they did arrest him. Better story. Now, this is, to me, you talk about a bad story and on the verge of being ugly. It happened in Indiana. A plumber is being accused today. Well, and in fact, he's admitted to doing it. See if you think he's right now. This restaurant had a problem with their clogged pipes. They had a clogged pipe, so they called out a plumber to come and fix it. He did come and fix the pipe. But once he fixed it, now this was at a restaurant. The guy's name is Joel Heverin, who is the plumber, Heverin's Plumbing. He went out, he got the clog out of the pipe. Then the restaurant, 3 days later, they paid for the bill. It was like $225. 3 days later, it was clogged up again. So they called the same plumber. He comes out, fixes it again, and charges $350 because it's nighttime or weekend hours. So it's more expensive. Well, the restaurant refuses to pay because they said this should last. I mean, you just unclogged it. Stand by your work. It got clogged back up after only 3 days. And he said, well, sometimes things like that happen. That's not my fault. So they refused to pay him. A day later, the plumber goes back, reclogs the pipe. He put a balloon in the pipe so it can't be unclogged. And so now they're really ticked, and they've got to call a different plumbing company to come out and fix it and pay them as well. This is first the restaurant owner, then the plumber giving their sides of the story.
I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. It's like, okay, is this really happening? So this was the first invoice, basically explaining all the work he did. And then this is the second one, basically doing the same exact work, and he charged us double. If we were to leave the balloon in there, it would overflow the restaurant with water, dirty water that's going down the grease trap. And basically, we would have to shut down.
I don't have a magic wand I can wave and remove all of the garbage and debris from the drain line. We can snake it, we can verify that it's open and working correctly, which is what we did.
It's a good question now. So he did it. It was working correctly. 3 days later, it's clogged again. Plumber says, that's not my issue. Restaurant owner says, "Come on, you just cleaned it. It was 3 days ago." I don't know how plumbing works like that. Are you with the plumber or the restaurant owner?
I'm kind of with the plumber on this one. I mean, he can't control that. He did his job. It worked.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what other people are doing in there.
Yeah, so then you think it can be. But, if somebody came and fixed my, I don't know, like your air conditioner, and 3 days later it broke again, I'd be like, well, he just fixed this. But I guess something else could break on. How about the plumber having the cojones to go back and reclog it?
I like that. I like that gumption. That's hilarious.
Put a balloon in there. And the guy said if we hadn't shut everything down, dirty water would have flooded the restaurant. The question is, do plumbers need to stand by? I don't know enough about it, to know if they need to stand by their work for all that time.
Yeah, well, with something like plumbing where people are constantly using it, I really don't think you can control that. An air conditioner, that's something that needs to last, a while.
Yeah.
That happened to me several years ago. I was living in a house, and in the dead of the summer, the air conditioner went out.
Right.
So somebody came and fixed it. Then a month, 2 weeks later, it went out again. And then somebody else had to come and replace the system completely. But I mean, I'm not, messing with it or clogging it or anything.
So you angry at the first group, or is it two completely different things? Like they fix it and then something else breaks.
I kind of blame the first guys. I mean, when they showed up, they were a little sketchy.
Oh yeah.
And I just don't think they did the job good.
What was the name of the place? Sketch AC.
Sketch AC.
I don't know how to feel about it because I don't know enough about the plumbing world. Are you with the plumber?
I'm totally with the plumber. I love that kind of pettiness.
Yeah, well, you sure got it. To come back and reclog.
Yeah.
The grease traps weren't working. Ugly story. A vendor working the Wisconsin State Fairgrounds has been accused of and has admitted to putting superglue in his coworker's soda. A woman said for 2 weeks she would have a Coke sitting on her desk, and if she ever left the desk and came back and drank the Coca-Cola, she would get a strong chemical smell and taste after she drank it. She told the State Fair police to set up a surveillance camera, and she saw her coworker on camera, Joseph Ross, putting something in her drink that turned out to be superglue. When asked why he did it, he said she talked so much I wanted to shut her up. He's like, I'm gluing your mouth shut for you.
Can't do it.
So he literally was putting drops of superglue into her Coke. She never got sick. It was Gorilla brand superglue, which is the best, and they found it in his desk. He's like, yeah, okay, you got it. I did it. Now, there are people I know who talk a lot, and it's tempting to put superglue into their Coca-Cola, but you really can't do that. Now he's been arrested for, like, tampering with and assault and all that kind of stuff, He's in the district attorney's office. Felony count of placing foreign objects or edibles inside someone else's drink. I'm mad at him, but I get it. I mean, and I do like the fact that he said she talks so much, I just couldn't get away. I couldn't get away with it. God, that's awful. To imagine your coworker putting something in your drink like that, though, that would be.
They should ask the other coworkers what they think about it.
They probably want him exonerated.
Yeah, exactly. Totally understand why he would do that.
Yeah.
We were going to do it first. He was the one crazy enough to do it.
Yeah, he finally did it. Exactly. And he used the best superglue you could find, the Gorilla.
He meant
it's
it.
the brand. That is the brand. That's really taken over. It used to be it was like Crazy Glue or Superglue, different brand names, but Gorilla has really taken that market by storm. One more ugly story today. A babysitter has made a discovery in a child's room in Great Bend, Kansas. The child is 5 years old. The babysitter was keeping 2 kids while mom and dad went out to dinner and to a movie. And the babysitter put the 5-year-old to bed around 8:30. 10 minutes later, the child came out of the room and told the babysitter, who was 19, there's a monster under my bed. The 19-year-old said, go back to bed. Everything's fine. Okay, so again, 5 minutes later, here comes the 5-year-old. There's a monster under my bed. To prove there wasn't, she turned on the light, shined a flashlight under the bed. There was a 27-year-old man underneath the bed. Yeah. He's been jailed. He ran from the house. He was robbing the house. And he came into the child's room just before the kid was going to be put in bed. He used to live in the house, so he knew the lay of it and was going to rob the new owners of the house. How about that? And underneath the bed was a guy. If you're that kid, you never want to go back to sleep.
Of course, no, that's traumatizing.
And of course, the babysitter was like, come on, not thinking that it was real. And all of a sudden, there are eyes staring back at you. Holy cow. Now, that's pretty rough. That is the ugly story. He's been held on $500,000 bond. And now accused of aggravated burglary and kidnapping because he's in the kid's room.